Central banking has been tried off and on throughout our entire history. And it was an argument between Jefferson and Hamilton. Hamilton liked it, and he got the first national bank started, which was a type of a central bank, and Jefferson didn't like it, and eventually he allowed it to expire. Later on, they had the second national bank, and Jackson managed to get rid of that because he didn't like the power that was placed in their hands. And basically, we haven't had a central bank over all those years until 1913, when the Federal Reserve came into existence. And it was set up to be rather secretive, and they said that they had to have it because of the Panic of 1907, and it was to prevent all the business cycle problems that we've had in the previous years. And yet, since that time, they've caused a lot of trouble as far as many of us are concerned from the free market view. They were the ones that created the inflation for World War I, the Depression of 1921, the inflation of the 1920s, the Depression of the 1930s, and on and on. But they've never had to be audited, and we do not know exactly what they do. There was a move in the 1970s to audit the Fed because we had rough economic times in the 70s. We had high unemployment with a high inflation rate, and they finally got a bill passed in 1978 that said that the GAO could audit the Federal Reserve. But like they do so often here, is when you pass something with the pretense of accomplishing something, they do exactly the opposite. Actually, it gave it more privacy and more secrecy because it excluded all the important things that we needed to know about. So essentially, they've been working in secrecy ever since. And right now, because of the financial crisis, we've had a much better chance at this, and that is why we're moving along with our effort to get this bill passed. Well, off and on over the years, I've always had this piece of legislation and gotten essentially no attention. But this go-around, it seems to have caught on at the grassroots, and there was an organization called the Campaign for Liberty that worked real hard on this, and they motivate a lot of people to call their congressman. And now we have about 70 Democrats, a total of 230 co-sponsors of the bill, which means now it is very popular to get transparency of the Fed. But I think basically it came out of the TARP funds, when they came and started passing these hundreds of billions of dollars of bailout funds for the various corporations, car companies, and banks, and insurance companies. And the Congress did it so carelessly, all of a sudden some of this money went into providing special benefits for special companies, as well as huge retirement bonuses for individuals. This outraged the American people. And then a few individuals in the media started filing suits, not only to find out where these TARP funds were going, that Treasury was in charge of, they also caught on to this whole notion, well, the Fed's involved too, making loans and making guarantees and doing a lot of other things. So this was translated over, well, if we're going to have transparencies of hundreds of billions of dollars, why don't we have the transparency of the trillions of dollars that the Federal Reserve has been involved in? Not seriously, because it's not practical, and we have a long way to go to give up on the system. We probably will have some hearings. Chairman Frank of the Financial Services Committee is not exactly hostile to it. I'm sure he wouldn't endorse everything I would like to see done, but he in general favors more transparency of the Fed. He would merely like to transfer that authority to the Congress and to the Banking Committee. Of course, I want to return most of this authority to the marketplace. I don't want anybody setting interest rates. But nevertheless, both left and right support the principle of transparency. So I think we have to wait a little while longer, work harder in the Senate. Jim DeMint, Senator from South Carolina, now is supporting the same bill in the Senate. And this is very helpful, and we're moving in the right direction. I think it's premature to talk about a discharge petition. Besides, it's not very practical. The Democrats that have been signed on, believe me, that is a major request to go that next step and sign a discharge petition. That's not likely to happen. Well, that's hard to say because the likelihood of the bill coming up as a freestanding bill, I would say, is not very good. Dennis Kucinich has passed one bill that has some reforms in it and some transparency of the Fed in the government reform package, and that bill may come to the Financial Services Committee. Maybe we can make it stronger. It may be that some of our proposals will be put on to a larger House version of total reforms, and it's just hard to say what would happen because it has a long way to go on which bill it's on, freestanding versus on a bill that Kucinich passed, or on a new bill that they're working on right now. Then it has to be passed by the Senate, and then it goes to conference, and that's when the special interests who feel like they're being attacked will really work hard and try to spread panic throughout the Congress. You can't do this. This will be a disaster if they know what we're doing, Okay. But, in one way, though, I don't worry a whole lot about it because the main job is to wake the American people up. And if we get closed out, it will be proof positive that they are not very anxious for the American people to know what they're doing, and it will be a big step forward toward monetary reform and need to do something about the Federal Reserve if they feel so strong about this that they won't even allow the Congress to know what's going on. It's good information one way or the other. I don't expect them to co-sponsor the bill. The leadership in the majority party usually does not do that. If they want a bill, they'll have their own bill. So just traditionally, they don't do that. But I've spoken to him a lot of times about it. And matter of fact, years and years, even when they were in the minority party, and he always talked about, well, Ron, if we ever get in charge, I'm going to help you get more transparency of the Fed. So this is not a new issue with him or with me. And I don't know where he'll come down at the final version of it. He may be on the side of weakening the bill for all I know. But so far, he has not said, forget it. We're just not going to mess around with this. That hasn't been it at all. And for that reason, we are going to have hearings in a week or so on this in the Subcommittee on Monetary Policy.